This is my 7.3 Powerstroke. It's a 1997 F250, and I've done a lot of work to this thing. What better place to start than the engine? I've done a lot of work to the engine. We're gonna go over everything I've done. I will keep some photos coming along with some of the progress along the way as I was working on it. So yeah, let's get started on that. So under the hood, like I said, we have a 7.3 Powerstroke golden age Ford motor right here, built by International. Man, there's so much I've done to this. It's really hard to say where to start. If you guys have seen the short, I can link that in the description. It's got some good pictures of everything I've done, but the whole motor did come out of this truck. As you can see, some parts are nice and red in there. So I repainted like the high pressure oil pump reservoir right here. Valve covers got redone, and I did the turbo. It being a turbo, it's already wore off some of the paint. That thing likes to get a little hot. Everything on here has been resealed. The only thing I did not do to this engine, I didn't think it needed it. I didn't compression test it. A lot of people probably are gonna hate that I didn't do that. Was pull the heads and new head gaskets and really look at the pistons. I didn't really do that. Other than that, pretty much everything else got a new seal. Front, rear, valve covers, high pressure oil pump, the oil cooler, rebuilt the entire fuel bowl with all new gaskets, some new hose clamps everywhere, exhaust clamps got replaced. I mean, you name it with a gasket, it probably got done. Over here, as you can see, we got an S&B cold air intake. Absolutely love this thing. Literally, when I put this in the truck, before I even did anything to the motor, this was one of the first things I did when I bought the truck. I immediately noticed a difference with throttle response and the turbo kicking up to speed under those high PSI boost points. So if you are running a complete stock engine like I am, I haven't done any performance mods to this. All the injectors are the same. That's another thing. I rebuilt the injectors. I didn't replace them, just cleaned them up extremely good, put all new gaskets, everything on them. But turbo stock, did a little work to the turbo. New compressor wheel in that thing. Bearing was surprisingly still good. But yeah, if you have a stock 7.3 and you just want that little bit better performance, especially while towing or going up hills like I wanted, definitely worth the money. I went with the non-oiled filter. This is a simple, basic filter that they offer. Great option, really easy. You just, there's no cleaning or oiling. You just rip that one out, put a new one in. You notice the core support looks rather nice and black and shiny. Whole new core support in this truck. The other one was super rusty. If I got a picture of it, I will definitely post it on here so you guys can see how bad it was. It was rusted over here and rusted over here. Pretty common points is about right in here at the bottom. It starts to rust and the whole thing separates, so the whole thing was bowing. Caused lots of movement in the front just at idle. All new radiator. Went with O'Reilly's on that one. It was a Murray. I haven't had any problems. One really nice thing about this radiator was I was able to take the old support brackets and literally just slap them right on there. Just simple bolts, just literally bolts on. You can drop the radiator in. That was probably one of the easiest things that I'd done to the whole truck. All new front end, new lights, new chrome, new grille, new bumper. This is a ranch hand, not really, but pretty much I call it the ranch hand. Love this bumper. I can't think of the exact brand off the top of my head, but it was a really good deal. They shipped it. I picked it up at a warehouse. Pretty easy to install this. I will say one thing, my frame was bent on the front. The passenger side front was corked in a little bit. Had some problems with that. Literally had to chain up that side and pull it to the driver's side and then put the bumper on there and bolt it all down. Had some immense help with that. Definitely didn't do that all on my own. New batteries got put in this thing. New water pump. If I can get a good shot down in there. the whole front cover. It's the same original front cover. I wanted to get a new one, but I didn't trust the Dormans, and from Riff Raff, which is where 90% of all my engine parts came from, was Riff Raff. Fantastic company. You need it, they got it. Highly recommend Riff Raff for anything to do with the 750. Really any Powerstroke, they got it. They just do. So I pulled the front cover off. I'll have pictures of that too. Completely cleaned it, put in the parts washer, did everything. Put a new water pump on the front. That was leaking so bad whenever I first got this truck. It was pouring coolant out. For the most part, really fast. That's majority it. You can see new alternator, new AC compressor. I rebuilt the whole AC system, condenser and all. Like put a new, I forget, the filter tube that's up there, new dryer. I mean, I did everything, and it lasted about 2 months and it went out. Really, really, really scared and nervous. It's the heating element back here in this box, which isn't gonna be horrible to pull. I pressure tested the whole thing. It's got no Freon in it anymore, so I'm afraid it's leaking out of that thing. Funny thing with these wheels, a lot of people recognize that they're not Ford wheels. That is because they're not Ford wheels. These were on the truck when I bought it. These are from same era, from my research, a Dodge Ram, like 2500. That's what these wheels are off of. And if you could imagine, no, they did not fit. I had to do some custom work to these wheels. I had to grind them down on the inside to get them to fit over the hub so they actually seated properly, because my lug nuts were not torquing down to the spec. So I had to do a lot of work on these wheels to get them to work. I could have bought new wheels. I looked, they're expensive, quite frankly. I think they look good on this truck. They're not Ford, but they're a wheel and they get the job done. And here you can see, did a lot of work to the frame, repainted it, cleaned it up as best as I could without ripping the cab off. All new suspension all the way around. Ride's real bumpy. After the front, this brings us to the rear of the truck. As you can see, this is a hay bed. Did a lot of research, finding a good deal. This is a Butler bed. It's electric over hydraulic, so there's no hydraulic pump on the motor. I didn't want to do that because from what I understood and asking the guys at the shop that put this on, told me that you, like most of the time, you gotta take your compressor, AC compressor out. I didn't want to do that. I live in Missouri, so in the summertime, it's summertime, it gets really hot here. So I wanted to make sure I had the comfort in the cab. But yeah, super solid bed. Definitely always wanted a flat bed on this truck when I got it. Really wasn't going for a hay bed, but we're on the farm, so you know, there's probably gonna be some hay to feed this winter, so we went ahead and went with this. Super solid option, built extremely well. All the lights work. Yeah, it's just, I haven't had a single problem with it. Absolutely love this thing. You can see in the sticker right here, this is who put it on. They did a great job, fantastic job. There was some problems with this being a dual tank system. This bed was not really made for dual tanks, so I could show you the handyman work that this company did. They did a great job. I didn't supply them with the right parts though, so I still gotta fix it and make it to where the rear tank still works. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a little bit. Hitch, went with the BW, mainly because this is a very tall bed to get into. My thoughts on this was, if you twist it to the side, now you got a step to get up into your bed. So that was the decision on that one. It's because it made a pretty solid step. I almost always leave it out like that. Another thing that was really nice about this bed is it's got the plate back here. Underneath this plate, you can see, is a ball. Obviously this truck isn't doing it. It probably would if I wanted to hurt something and blow my tires out, but they told me that ball is rated for 30,000 pounds, so pretty impressive. So down here was this handyman work I was telling you about. So this bed shop put this custom bracket on the bed, fully welded. Gives you your fuel neck straight to your rear tank. If I take this off, you'll see what I'm talking about though. If you noticed, a diesel nozzle is definitely not going to fit in there, like at all. So that's kind of the one downside to whenever I had this done, is that was the fuel neck. I don't know what the previous owner was doing, but that's the fuel neck that they had on here. So I got a new fuel neck. I got to put it on. I've been struggling really bad though with getting like the hose found. I got a trailer and bed shop that said they would help me out with that, at least like getting me the hose I need. The front one, standard right here, goes to the front tank. Super nice. Since we're here, leaf springs. I don't know if most guys are probably gonna be pretty familiar with the leaf springs on these trucks and what they should look like. And if you notice, this is not an ordinary leaf spring for a F-250. This is actually a converted 1-ton. So we took the old springs off and put some 1-ton springs on here. It is absolutely a beast because of that. I have yet to put anything in the bed or tow something, and this truck, suspension wise, could not handle it. Like I said, it's really rough now with these in the back, which is, you can deal with it. But side boxes here, that one's actually for storage. Around this side, of course it's locked, I don't have the keys. That is where your hydraulic pump goes for the bed to work. Big old tip, not too big of a tip. I wanted to keep it pretty minimal. This is a 4-inch straight pipe up to the 3-inch down pipe from the turbo. Sounds mean. That opened it up too. Less back pressure on the exhaust system. It made it run really, really well. Still got some cosmetic work to do. I got a lot of things I want to finish up. I got all new trim pieces right here. I need to rip these off, clean it up. I'm going to not redo the cab for paint. Kind of like it the way it is. I think it adds character. I do need to fix that. One reason why I went with this truck, that's the only rust. This in the cab corners right there, and it's very minimal. Like very, very, very minimal. Like I could scrape that out, fill it, repaint it. It's not bad at all. Both sides. I've looked over the whole thing. New clutch got put in the motor. Didn't do anything to transmission except change the fluid, which I'll have some stuff on that too. A lot of people told me not to change it, but once we get in the inside, you'll see why. Automatics, you don't really want to, from my understanding. Manuals are a little different. So she's a little messy on the inside right now. I am not too proud of this at all. I'm going to fix it soon. There'll be a video out on that. Had some problems with the ignition cylinder, as a lot of people probably have experienced if you own one of these trucks. They're getting older, the key cycles put some wear on that cylinder. So I got a new one in it, but then when I put the new one in there, it broke the linkage that goes from the key cylinder down to your starter relay. So this is how you got to start it, is with just the relay. So I need to fix that. And then I have all this undone because of my key cylinder. I had some problems with the accessory mode always being active on this truck, and I did a lot of bypassing, trying to do bypassing with the sound system that's in here. Got the subwoofer in the back, didn't work. Found out that it was the relay was bad. It was getting caught in accessory mode. I put the new relay in there. It's so stiff and tight compared to the old one, it broke the key cylinder. So that's kind of the whole story of why this looks like this. Still drives and runs great, no problems with it, but I got to finish that all up, get it cleaned up. But yeah, like I said, this is the cab. We do have the ZF5 in here. Great transmission. I haven't had any problems. Like I said, I serviced it. It's been great ever since. 4-wheel drive, that was a must-have for me on this truck, was to have 4-wheel drive with a stick. It's just golden truck right here. I've had so many people love this thing and want to buy it for me, but I always say no. Next big thing that happened in here, the dash, I think I'll have some pictures of that as well, was completely cracked out and just horrible. Dash was just almost gone in this thing, just cracks everywhere, falling apart. This piece was all cracked and falling apart. When I bought this truck, In the bed of it, it had not the factory bed, but it had a normal truck bed in it. A whole new dash was sitting back there, and the guy gave it to me completely for free. And this was the condition of it. It's in really good shape. So I think within a month of me purchasing this truck, the dash went in, and that never done that before, and that was some really interesting work. I had no idea how many bolts and screws it takes to hold a dash into a vehicle, but I can tell you multiple little screw organizer bins had to get used to get this done. Brand new gauge bezel in here. The other one was really bad, missing this trim piece. I have that trim piece. I can't find these trim pieces. So yeah, really proud with how this turned out. Had some problems with the center console here. It came like this, the whole piece missing. Amazon bought this 3D printed cup holder. Just used some self tappers to hold it in, because without this, nothing, like you couldn't even sit a normal can in here, it would fall. So bought this, put it in there. Haven't had any problems ever since. This is kind of whatever. I don't mind it. Kind of can put bigger things back here. Had to get new door panels, both sides. They're not obviously new. They're used ones, way better condition than the ones that were in here when I bought it. Every time you close the door, something new would fall off. So I picked these up, both of these up, Facebook Marketplace. Different guy on both one, but I think they turned out all right. A lot better than having anything. I drove around for a while with that door panel just gone, and you just see all the bare metal. Done some cleaning in here. I haven't done it yet. I really want to rip the entire interior out, the floor, the seats, all of it. Just get rid of it, completely clean it. This is the remote for the bed. I just kind of leave it back there for now. It does a pretty, like I said, does a good job. It's a hydraulic hay bed. You can use it for a lot more than just picking up bales, I'll say that. Yeah, that's real quick, kind of the cab. The headliner's kind of saggy and droopy. I keep getting recommended by a ton of people that I need to redo the headliner with cowhide, which I think would be really cool, but I kind of bought this with the idea of it being a work truck, not really a show truck. That's why I don't really want to repaint it or anything. But yeah, there's so much more work to be done to this thing. It's not quite where I want it. I got to fix that. The interior, I got some aftermarket mirrors, you know, the big old chromies that's got the support arms that go down. I need to put those on still. These are pretty wore out and jiggly while you're driving, so I got those to do. There's just a whole bunch of stuff. I got like boxes of parts that need to go on this thing still. So make sure you go down, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, so you get notified whenever a new project comes out for what we are doing on this truck. So one thing I get asked a lot about this vehicle is, what do I got into it? It's not horrible. It could have been way more if it wasn't for what I bought the initial truck for. So I got this truck for about $3,000 cash. I talked the guy down pretty good because it had some problems, big enough problems that I pulled the motor. Didn't really have to pull the motor until a mistake came up. When I was doing the water pump, one of the front cover bolts that hold the water pump on broke. Trying to torque it down to the factory spec it was supposed to be. I'm guessing the bolt was just old and wore out, but it wouldn't torque, and then it finally just snapped. So I don't know if that was because of the Harbor Freight torque wrench I was using and it was inaccurate readings, or just the bolt was old. I don't really know, but that's a big reason why the engine got pulled, because I had to fix that. And you can't pull the front cover unless you get the oil pan off, and to get the oil pan off, you got to pull the engine. But yeah, $3,000 for the truck. And just to sum it all up really quick, I got about 18 into the entire thing. So I've done 90% of it on my own. I say 90 because I didn't do the bed. That was a pretty big job. I had the bed shop do that, but yeah, about 18,000 for the entire rig. Not bad at all. And with that, If you were curious, I only got about 265,000 miles on this thing. So hoping I can get a lot more out of this engine before it needs to come back out. Hopefully that doesn't have to happen anytime soon, but it's running strong. I have no problems with it after doing all this work. It just, I mean, it fires up, it goes, it drives. Especially if you saw, I didn't really point it out, I got the tuner in there. Went ahead with the Hydra. That obviously, if you know, wakes these engines up, makes it pull way better. I can pull a trailer with about anything. I've had I think it's a 36 footer, maybe a 32 footer, like triple axle aluminum gooseneck cow hauler. I was kind of nervous pulling it. I didn't have a lick of problems with that thing. I mean, dropped it down on that ball, first gear. Actually, I was with it empty, I was able to start it in second gear. Pretty crazy. That's just power of the 7.3. So yeah, lots of capability. So yeah, that was a quick little walkthrough on my truck. Like I said, a lot of work gone into this thing. Stay tuned. There's gonna be some more projects coming out on what we're doing with this truck and just making it better every day. That's just my goal every day. Something's gonna come up. Like I said, I've done all this work in the ignition cylinder. It's an old truck. It's a 1997. You're gonna have problems with it. You won't have problems if you spend 40 grand and literally redo the entire thing, but that's not what I wanted to do. That wasn't the plan. So stay tuned. Like I said, hit that subscribe and bell button down there so you can get notified and join the squad on this beast. So with that, let's get back into the rest of it. Fires right up.